Hi there and welcome to this video. My name is Mary Amondo, in charge of training and career advisory services here at Corporate Staffing, and also one of the lead facilitators for the Speak with Confidence and Master Presentation Skills training. Today I am super excited as I am joined by a special guest, one of our alumni who just recently graduated in our 53rd cohort. I believe you are going to find this session very interactive as she shares how her journey has been throughout the 9 weeks program, and we look forward to even seeing you in our upcoming cohorts. Thank you so much, Emma, for joining me.
Thank you very much, Mary.
Great. I know someone watching is wondering, who is this special guest? So I'll give you the opportunity to tell us briefly about who you are, your background, what do you do?
Thank you once again, Mary. My name is Emma Wanyonyi. My background is in public health, and I've worked a lot on public health policy development and implementation, mostly with non-government organizations here in Kenya. But I'm currently consulting I'm a freelance consultant for a number of international development organizations on the same area on public health policy.
Wow, I'm looking at public health and now serving as a freelance consultant for very prominent organizations, international organizations. I know public speaking skills come in handy. So what made you sign up for a public speaking training?
Well, I have always struggled with communication and public speaking for a very long time. And at some point, I just decided that I could exist without that skill. But I always knew at the back of my mind that it was a real challenge, particularly because as I rose through the ranks, more and more I got opportunities and roles that required for me to be able to speak in public. And therefore, when I worked, for example, in the NGO sector and I rose through the ranks, I was required to represent the organization in public meetings and present the opinions of the organizations. And even as I rose through my career, I was required to manage staff within the organizations that I worked in, and this required also some level of communication and public speaking. But my turning point came when I was transitioning from one organization to the other, and as I was going through interview processes, it really dawned on me that this is a skill that I was lacking in, and a skill that I really needed help to be able to strengthen. And that is why I signed up for the course, to be able to strengthen my public speaking skills so that I can be able to explore opportunities that are out there for me. Yes.
Alongside interviews and looking at the nature of your work, your profession, what you do on a daily basis, what did you hope to perhaps achieve? What were your major expectations when joining the training?
Well, my main expectation was really to develop confidence in public speaking and communication by understanding the fundamentals of public speaking. So basically that is what I wanted to achieve. Yes.
Interesting. I know it's been a whole 9 weeks journey.
Yeah.
Which part of the programs made the biggest impact for you? Like what really stood out over and above what was covered during the training?
I would say that the training course is quite comprehensive. I was really impressed by the comprehensive nature of the course. But two main areas that really stood out for me was, number one, on the first day of class, we learned about the fundamentals of persuasive communication. And there are a number of things that we learned. For example, we learned about the key components of effective communication, so issues around understanding your topic, being very clear on what your topic is, and being a subject matter expert in your topic. Number two, understanding the goal of your presentation or your public speaking engagement. What do you want to achieve from that opportunity? Number three, understanding your audience. That was very critical for me, really understanding what the audience is expecting from you and trying to address those expectations as you're delivering on your public speaking engagement. And finally, the approach that you use to be able to achieve the expectations that you have set for yourself in a public speaking engagement. So that was the first thing, really understanding those fundamentals of effective communication in public speaking. Number two was a lesson we had about self-awareness. really understanding the difference between temperaments and personality traits, but more importantly, understanding how your temperaments affect or impact on your public speaking, and knowing how to utilize the strengths that you have within your temperament and minimize the weaknesses that you also have to be able to deliver strongly on your public speaking engagement. So those are the two key areas that really stood out for me.
I truly agree with you, especially when it comes to temperaments.
Yeah.
Sometimes the reason why we struggle, as we rightfully mentioned it during the training, is because of naturally how we are wired.
Yeah.
So really self-discovery, or rather self-awareness, is very key.
Yeah.
Now, how has this whole program changed your approach towards public speaking or even presentation skills in itself, now that you have already graduated?
Yes, for me, it has been a change of approach in terms of how I take up a public speaking opportunity. So while previously it would be almost like an ad hoc process where you just sit, and if it's a PowerPoint presentation, you craft your own PowerPoint presentation with your own expectations in mind. I have now learned to be able to have some thought process in terms of going through a public presentation engagement or public speaking engagement. So it's like I have a structure or a framework in my mind which I go through very quickly, whether it's whether it is a scripted speech or whether it is an impromptu speech. There is sort of a framework in my mind that I have to go through very quickly to be able to structure whatever content that I want to deliver. And that has really changed things for me, because now I have become more eloquent, because my thoughts are actually structured, and I'm able to easily deliver on the points that I want to make and be clear to the audience that I have for that particular assignment.
Wow, that's very captivating, I must say. Great. What has been the most unique part of the training for you?
I would say that the most unique part of the training for me was the format of the training, because out of the about 9 weeks that we had, 9 lessons that we had, only about 1 or 2 were theory. The rest of them were really practical. So that was critical in the sense that it always puts us in the mode for practicing. And I think one of the things that we constantly got from the facilitators was that practice is important. So within the training itself, we got the opportunity to actually practice public speaking, different kinds of public speaking, whether it is scripted, whether it is impromptu, and that really helped us a lot. And also the feedback that we got from the fellow colleagues in the class and also the facilitators, it was very helpful in terms of helping us improve, and it was delivered in a way that created confidence in us. When you have a weakness like public speaking, you need a safe environment to be able to explore the opportunities to strengthen it. And I think the class provided that, because the feedback was very constructive, but at the same time it was delivered in a way that was encouraging for the participants to be able to take up and continue journeying on in this process of building our skills in public speaking. Yes.
I agree with you, especially on the aspect of practice, because it is only through practice that you're able to master and even perfect the skill. Interesting. Someone is watching. What would be your final advice to them? My
final advice would be to take up the course and take it now. If you feel you have a weakness in public speaking, do it now. For me, I took quite a bit of time to take up the course. I identified my weakness quite a long way back in my career, but it took me a bit of time to actually take the step to go to that class. And I know for sure now that the delay has had an impact in my career growth, for example. And I know that if I had taken the class earlier, I would have been way ahead in terms of certain milestones that I had set for myself in my career. And I can also say that public speaking is a holistic skill that is applicable whatever level of life you're in. So it doesn't matter whether you're a student at the university, because we did have some students in that particular class. If you want to present, say, your papers to your supervisors and your professors in school, whether you are a young or matured professional in the workplace, whether you're even retired, there will come a time when you will be required to speak in public, and the skills that we learn from this course will actually come in handy to support you in that journey. So if you're thinking about taking up the class, the time is now. You have nothing to lose, and really you have everything to gain from this class.
Wow. The time is now.
Yes.
And of course, it requires a very bold step
Yeah.
to acknowledge that I have a problem and this is the right solution.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Emma, for sharing with us.
Thank you. It is my pleasure.
Great.
Yeah.
Indeed, as Emma has mentioned, I believe you found this discussion very intriguing and interactive. And as Emma has already echoed, this is the safest place for you to practice and to perfect public speaking skills. It is a skill that you can be able to master and be very good at it. You can be able to learn and perfect whichever areas of improvement that you need to improve on. And that is why we encourage you to join other professionals who have already signed up for our upcoming intake. We look forward to seeing you in the class. Thank you so much for watching.